Hi, welcome to Way to NZ podcast. I'm Rizbe, I'm your host for the show. And in today's episode, I am going to speak to an IT professional, but I think it's not called an IT professional, but more of a business owner because he owns a business and his business is called AMPM Marketing. I'm going to speak to Apurv Tijare from AMPM Marketing, and he's going to talk about his journey of how he started off as an intern at this same very place and today is the owner of the company. Do listen in to this super episode, and I'm pretty sure this episode is going to be inspiring, motivating, and in some ways a bit touching. So enjoy this episode. Hi Apurv, welcome to Way to NZ. How are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thanks. Yeah, Apur, it's a pleasure to have you on the show because I've known you personally and I've known you for quite some time now. I think I've known you the longest from the time when you came to New Zealand. I think it was back in 2013 when you actually came here. Am I
Yeah,
right?
that's correct. July.
So let's get you onto it directly. I don't waste time at all with my guest. I directly hit them with a lot of questions because this podcast is about you, about your journey, about your experiences that you've been through. So we want our listeners, our viewers to know that. So starting off with one very straight up question: why New Zealand? Why did you decide to come to New Zealand?
So previously, there was a bit of a confusion with my career because I was quite interested in animations and making websites, but that was never, I couldn't see a solid career. Um, and that was more of an hobby that I was just doing on my own. There wasn't a formal education. And the same thing happened was in India when I was looking through different colleges. I couldn't find a lot of formal education or a degree in animation and marketing. But after working in the industry for some time, I kind of realized that it's not just about that's not exactly what I wanted to. I love doing it, it's my passion. But then also business is something that I was quite interested in. And
So
why do you need to do all of these different
so you
things?
were you were coming from a very technical background. In India, you were doing a very technical kind of a role. Is that what
Right.
you're saying? And then
um, as a hobby and also as my first job, it was technical. But from my career point, I was actually doing commerce and in marketing as a specialization.
right,
But
okay.
both of them never, the dots didn't join because the education in marketing was all traditional marketing.
Yeah.
um, and what I used to do was like animations or special effects or websites.
Wow. Apurv, you're already an inspiration for a lot of us because a lot of people like have their hobbies separate to what their work is. But you had the opportunity at that time, or probably built an opportunity yourself to turn your hobby into a job, and then you had this education which was in commerce and marketing, and now basically you wanted to bridge that gap and see how I can
Yeah,
get my technical and my marketing and combine it together. And
yeah.
I think that's why you decided. So, what course did you come here for and come to New Zealand? What course did you study?
So it was a business studies, and I did a specialization in digital enterprise. Actually, one of the very specific reasons when I was looking for a college, I was looking for what sort of who's the professor and what subject they're looking for.
Wow.
Because again, if I would have selected a digital marketing course, then I would have gone through to the technical side again. So I wanted something that would be someone who's teaching how the new technology or how the new social world or the technology is used, and the traditional business strategies are changed based on that. So I pretty much just called up the professors, sent emails to
Wow.
quite a few, and that's when I found was in discussion with a professor here who actually just said that what you're looking for is something that we're teaching. We don't have formal books, but these are the research papers that I have, that this is what I would be teaching. And there would be a lot of industry experience. So that kind of clicked. Oh,
Wow. So what I'm hearing is that there's a lot of research that you've put into before making that big move, before taking that big step of actually moving a country and coming to a new place altogether. Um,
yeah.
okay, let's rewind 8 years back. First day, New Zealand. What was your experience like?
Um, it was like the first thing that I remember is I got out of the airport, and they're not big buildings or anything. I got into the taxi, and the first thing I was like, oh, have I made the right decision? Because just after, like, probably for the first few minutes it was all just plain. um, and then I was staying in backpackers for the first few days. It was winter, so it was a bit cold, jet lagged, but it was I was quite I was different person in a way. I was more, I'm on my own and I have to do things on my own. So I was just going out and meeting people and not being shy in a way.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's, I've heard this a lot before as well. I'm speaking to a lot of people now, and a lot of them have said that first impression of New Zealand was like, oh, where am I? Am I at the right place?
yeah,
Like, did I got drop off somewhere else? Is it somewhere, where I'm not
yeah,
supposed to be? But I think eventually the country grows on you. And
yeah.
now, for me personally, at least, the thought of going back and living somewhere else scares me a little. Like, suddenly now I'm not used to that much traffic. I'm like happy
Yeah.
with what traffic I'm in right now.
It's quite a balanced thing. Like, if you're coming from somewhere like Mumbai, then you're used to seeing everything very close together. Whereas here, it's much different. It's it's nice.
It's much spread
Yeah,
apart. Yeah,
yeah,
cool. Okay, so that was your, let's say, day one. Now I want to get into the course, and so there's education bit, right? So now obviously you studied in India and you did a with a commerce and a marketing course there, degree, bachelor's degree, right? And then
masters.
Oh, you did masters. Awesome. So now from there on, coming to New Zealand and studying the New Zealand course, what was different or what was same for you?
There was a big difference. That we, like, on, let's say, the week was structured in a way that on Monday we would learn the theory. On Wednesday we would go and visit a certain company, and
Mm-hmm.
we would have a discussion with that with the owners of the company or their marketing department, and tell them that, hey, this is what we're. So for example, it was just a simple social media strategy, or how that can be implemented. Then we went through, if I can remember it right, was ice cream factory.
Mm-hmm.
And we were having those sort of
Oh,
discussions
tip top
in a
ice
small
cream.
group. No, it wasn't that big. It was
Kapiti.
no, it was a small kohu, I think, something
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
Okay.
So so that's where we had that discussion. We were like, okay, these are the 15 points. And at that time, the professor wasn't with us. He had just given us, like, hey, this is what I've taught you
Wow.
everything on Monday. On Wednesday you go and do things, and on Friday you have to say, okay, now the report that I'm writing is for this particular company. Of course you do it in a group, but it was quite it was practical.
Hands
Like,
on.
you learn the theory, you actually meet people, and then, or the companies, and then, on Friday you go and they get something out of it,
I
so
think
the
that's a
companies.
solid way of learning, yeah, because a lot of
Mhm.
times we get taught a lot of things, but we don't um, realize its value until you actually put it into use. And
Yeah,
if you put something into use that you have learned, then you'll never forget it because you exactly know
it's true.
what is the use of it basically.
Yeah.
So that's very cool approach, yeah. So tell me this, so you started interacting with business owners right from the beginning of your course. How difficult or how easy was it for you to find your part-time job? Like, what did you do? Did you actually look for a part-time job, or um, how did that journey
so
go for you?
so one thing that I observed was that people are very open here. So they won't just say that, hey, you're a student, or you're they know that, hey, you are trying to learn things. And if you they're quite nice and open. So I was um, I was getting involved in a lot of different groups where business people meet. So there was one from our college, which was for where they used to take a few students to certain business meetup organizations. Then there was the meetup group.
Yep.
That's where we used to meet. Plus, there were a lot other different little events where they are open, and they still are, where you can just go in
Auckland
there,
Young
register.
Professionals.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's all for free. So that's where I used to hang out and have chat with people and say, hey, this is what I do, and do
Yeah.
things,
I
and
and
that's
I
how I
think
made my content.
oh, definitely. I think surely rings a not rings a bell, but surely is a very um, very clear memory because that's how we first time met. Just for our viewers, so Apurv and I, we come from the same place in India called Nasik, and but we first time met in Auckland, and we met at that meetup, a meetup group, a business meetup, which was a networking event. And basically, we have a lot of networking events over here, which help you to get in touch with people from the industry. So there are like different meetups, like for IT professionals, for marketers, for there's also yoga meetups also, like there's social meetups as well. So yeah, quite a clear memory. Yeah, that's somehow
Yeah,
how you meet friends and how you make contacts from the industry. That's a great
yeah.
story. So yeah, so sorry, getting back to your job bit. So how did you land up into your part-time job then?
So while I was doing a few projects for different companies, one of the company, I was doing a lot more for them, and for probably almost a year, I was a contractor, and then I initially actually I started off as an internship there, then it turned
Okay.
into a contractor. It was something that came in our college, and also while I was in those different events, it was open that they were looking for some students to come and join.
Right. So you had a very outside traditional approach. Like a lot of people come here and they look for a part-time job, which is like usually a few hours here and there between studies, and which is not related to their study.
Yeah,
And But for you, and it has been a completely different take on it. Like you have worked as a contractor, which usually people do later on in their career,
yeah,
where they work as contractors and get more money. You
right.
started off your journey in New Zealand as a contractor after your internship, and that's how you were not like on a part-time job but more of self-employed.
Yeah, because one thing, what I was doing was something I really liked. So initially we were not allowed to do contracting, but at that time what I was doing was I would say, for a company, I would say I would just do this for you. It would be a small project, for no charge, and that actually just helped me gain experience, and also build a bit of a portfolio of things that I can do. And by the time I finished my college, I was getting enough paid jobs that I didn't have to do a part-time sort of a job which wasn't related to my
That's a
field.
very cool approach and a very cool strategy actually for a lot of us people who are listening right now or tuning in. I think that's a very key message that if you love what you do and if you are confident of what you're doing, um, you will end up getting money somewhere or the other. It's not
Yeah.
going to be stopped. Um, so getting into your current state. So basically what I've understood is that you landed up into an internship, then you started contracting for them, and then that ended up into a full-time job for you.
Yes.
And so what's your current state? What is happening currently in your life, career wise?
Um, so I'm currently one of the owners at AMPM. So we are doing. We've got different departments where the web development is one of them. Online marketing is the other one. Promotional products, design, and print. So there are different streams. In my main expertise is in online marketing, but also now a lot into promotional products. So that's something that I'm doing pretty much full time. This is now my um,
It's your baby.
It's my baby, because yeah, that's all everything that I learned there I've now implemented here. So
That's
yeah,
a very cool story, Apurv, and I think that was the reason that I wanted to get you on, because I think you're an inspiration for those people like who believe in internships. Because a lot of people have different views about internships. They're like, "Oh, internships is just like you slog out and then you don't get anything in return." But I think if you have the right attitude towards things, then internships can turn into business ownership,
yeah.
potentially, because that's how it's worked out for you.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, I would say a turning point would be, while I was here and doing things, I had decided that I want to do my own business in a way, or I want to do business rather than, you know, that was the plan. So when I finished my internship and I was just doing a few other jobs for the same company. It was just, it came out in discussions, what is that you want to do in your future, and I was very, straightforward. I want to do something of my own, rather than doing something, that I would be doing for someone else. I would like to put
Right.
in the efforts for myself. And it is, rather than having, because there are opportunities, other opportunities that come up, and you kind of say, okay, but if I had that goal in my mind and I was letting people know that, this
Yeah.
is what I want to do, which is why then, when I started giving some value back to the company, then it kind of made sense for everyone to, join
Yeah.
forces.
Yeah, I think Apurv is being very humble, and I know his story personally, so I can probably reiterate or give some more focus on that. So basically, this company AMPM was functioning in a certain area, and then when you joined forces, you introduced a completely new area for them, um,
Yeah.
new division
So
altogether,
yeah.
which now has become the prime division. So you've implied business studies. We learn about diversification for companies, and you've just used diversification, and that has helped your company to reach a different height, and
Right.
um, and
So
potentially help you as well.
yeah, I mean, the main thing that I bought was actually initially the web development and the online marketing side. And once that was growing, I used the same thing for our own business for promotional products. And
Yeah,
now we have grown from previously just having clients in Auckland to across New Zealand. And also we've got formed another company in Australia. So we're doing pretty much the entire promotional products marketing, and that's all because of the digital marketing and with the access that we have today.
that's
So
amazing. Yeah, that's a cool one. So we've spoken about work now. Now tell me this, that okay, work is sorted. Cool.
yeah.
You've done really well. What about things outside work? What do you do outside work? How's your social circle? Do you feel like sometimes we feel like to get something, we need to lose something. Do you feel that to gain something in your career, have you had to sacrifice on your social front, or like, the reason I'm asking that is, do you think socially you would have been better off in India, or I know it's a very heart touching question, but what is your take on it?
Your childhood friends are always your childhood friends, but with time you form strong bondship with people who are here. It's a matter of time. Like, when I came here, I didn't know anyone. Like, I didn't have any relatives, any family, anyone. But over time, I've got friends like you, and so many friends that you don't feel that you're missing out on any sort of that I would have missed in India. Of course, the friends that I have there are there, but
Yeah, they are not,
you
they're irreplaceable.
yeah. But
Yeah,
at the same time, like you said, that do you lose something a bit, but not like you have to learn to balance stuff. There is a time when you have to work harder than you need to.
yeah,
But if you got the right friends, then they would know. They would
yeah,
help you push you further than pull you down. So and over time, things get easier. You don't have to
yeah.
constantly keep doing the same thing, and you find that balance. So yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of a bit different for you because you are a business owner yourself. So you have to put in extra hours because you can see what, exactly. So
Yeah.
it is it is your responsibility to maintain work life balance for yourself and not your employers, because you're the employer. So I think that is where it gets a little tricky for you. And
Yeah.
I can vouch for it. You're certainly very busy, because even I need to book an appointment into your diary to make sure that I can get you on. But
That's
I
not
am
true.
no, but I'm glad. Thank you so much, Apurv, to take some time out. I know you're living a very busy life, but thank you so much for taking some time out
Yeah.
and sharing your story, because people tuning in right now, they I think it's a source of inspiration for a lot of them, because what you have achieved, and what you will achieve in future, I think it creates benchmarks for other people also who are tuning in right now. Before I let you go, I just want to quickly ask you one quick question, and that is, if you want to give one advice to someone who's planning to make the big move, planning to come to New Zealand as their place of settling down, like as their place of living, what would that advice be?
Um, I mean, one thing that I always say is it's very tempting to get um, some of uh, the jobs in different industries not related to you, or I can't remember the exact word. What, so,
Relevant
uh,
jobs that are not relevant to your qualification.
yeah, more, yeah. So and what happens is it becomes very tempting to, let's say you get a job in McDonald's, and I completely understand that's quite important, but don't get comfortable with it.
Hmm.
Be ready. If you're an accountant, make sure you're going and meeting a lot other accountants from the industry. Just keep going out and don't constantly keep doing that, and you would land a job very easily and very quickly. The market here is very open. The only thing that they need is you need to have the skill, and what is that you can do. So that is the only thing that they need.
Awesome. Sorry, I said last thing, but I'm gonna add one more thing now, because that's what I do. Um, Tell me this, because you are looking at things from an employer perspective. What do you feel the job market in New Zealand is currently like? Are there going to be jobs? Are there jobs currently, or there's going to be scarcity of jobs? What is your take on that?
The market is actually growing quite rapidly. Yeah, after COVID, a lot of industries have changed, but they have all changed in a very good way. But there are always jobs. There won't be any scarcity anytime soon. A lot of new industries are coming up, plus the old ones. There's always, I always meet people, and same with our business. We are looking for people, and it's hard to find the right person. So it's the whole point is, if you're looking for a certain job, and make sure you've got the skill and you would get the right job. um, and especially there's a lot of new things, exciting things that are coming up in the industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
I think the important bit is to understand what is the requirement in the industry, and to always keep your eyes open, and also make sure with that you continuously engaging yourself in self improvement, self development, because that's how you'll be able to get the new jobs that are going to be coming out soon.
Yeah.
And what I mean by new jobs is jobs that were not jobs 10 years back. Like, for example, social media manager. If someone told me then that, oh, spend time on Facebook, because then that's going to get you a job, which is going to be a well paid job, I would be like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, cool. I'm just going to do Facebook, not do my degree now. So, those kind of things.
Yeah.
Um, but awesome. Thank you so much, Apurv. Thanks for your
Pleasure.
time. And definitely, I will try to get you back on to this show, because I know there are a lot of other stories in you, and there are a lot of other things that you would want to share,
Yeah.
which surely our viewers and our listeners will benefit from. So I hope that I can get you back onto the show.
Sure. It's a pleasure. Thank you. And anytime, I'm just a call away.
So that was Apurv Tijare, who is the owner for AMPM Marketing. Wonderful chat, and he's a very bubbly person as well. But yeah, he shared his story, and I think one important message that I've got out from this is that research is very important, but also with that is very important is networking. Meeting the right people, staying in the right company is very important if you want to make a mark, not just in New Zealand, but anywhere you decide to go. So, for your research needs, get in touch with mynzuni.com. All you need to do is go to mynzuni.com, register there for free, and that'll help you compare courses, look at different options. It is the works, it does all the things for you. So, get in touch or log in right now to mynzuni.com. This is me, Rusbe, signing off for now. I'll see you again next week with yet another exciting episode.